Good evening and welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from just outside of Chicago, where we're broadcasting to millions worldwide across Rumble and X. And tonight's show is extraordinary, and you're going to want to share this stream immediately. In fact, grab your phone right now and text this link to everyone you know who cares about saving this country. We need to bypass big tech algorithms, and you can help us do that. We are on day 4 of Donald Trump's historic return to the White House, and what we're witnessing is nothing short of a revolution. The stories we're covering tonight will shake you to your core. Yes, they don't want you to know about any of this, which is precisely why we're going to tell you everything. In moments, we'll dive into Donald Trump's game-changing new executive actions that have sent Washington into absolute panic mode. We're talking about moves so bold the establishment media can barely process them. And then we'll show you exclusive footage of ICE raids targeting criminal aliens in sanctuary cities, the kinds of raids the mainstream media won't dare to show you. But that is just the beginning. We're about to reveal what's in those newly declassified JFK files that have the former CIA director Mike Pompeo literally shaking. You wait till you hear about the brewing crisis at the Panama Canal that could reshape global trade as we know it. And speaking of reshaping, CNN, total meltdown. Jim Acosta's demotion to the midnight shift is just the tip of the iceberg. We've got the inside scoop on the network's death spiral. And throughout tonight's broadcast, we'll be featuring your voice. Yes, our live chat is already exploding with comments, and we will be reading your super chats and rumble rants between segments, putting them on the screen for the world to see. Your support keeps us going. And speaking of support, if you believe in what we are doing, we need your help to keep fighting the good fight. All the donation links are in the description below. For our most dedicated viewers, we've just launched channel memberships with exclusive perks. Join now to unlock special access to the Next News team and get acknowledged in our chat room. And don't forget to check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our limited edition gear is flying off the shelves. Remember, Super Chats get priority treatment between segments, and we're seeing your comments already flooding in. And trust me, you're going to want to be part of this conversation tonight. This is a historic broadcast you can't afford to miss. The deep state is scrambling. The border is finally getting secured. And the truth about decades of government corruption is about to be exposed. We're bringing you the stories they don't want you to see, the truth that they've been trying to hide, and the real news that matters. So stay right here. The Raw Feed starts now. And if you haven't already hit that share button or the like button, go ahead and do that. The revolution will not be televised on mainstream media. It's happening right here, right now, on the Next News Network. Let's welcome you guys to the show. We got Maja. We got Feather Faith, Running Bear, and Mo in the house. Paul and Sure You. We got David Gray, Head Trip in the house. Hermie Elf, Christine Pearson, Jane Drewers, Alice Searcy, Janine Watson, M.R., Free Truth Show, Hurt Fixer, Running Bear, Phil B., John Wick. Oh boy, John Wick's here, guys. Be careful. We got Karen Finley, Sure You in the house. We got Kelly Hentz, Sugar Muffin. Second, Skondetech. We got Ray Dell in the house. We got Scott Eads. We got Tall Walls. New is here as well. Army Dog and Kathy. Tufty Ted. Annette Louise Walker is here. Free Truth Show. I think I mentioned you already. We got Purple Jackson Larry and Stefania. J Flo is in the house as well. The gang is all here. And we've got some big news to get into right now, so let's just go ahead and start the show, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, what we're witnessing is nothing short of an economic revolution. President Trump just delivered an ultimatum to the global elite at Davos that's sending shockwaves throughout the financial world. Yeah, make your products in America or pay the price, period. The same elites who shipped our jobs overseas are now trembling as Trump dismantles their precious globalist framework piece by piece. He's taking on the banks that have been debanking conservatives, challenging the climate change money machine, and putting American interests first. But here's what they don't want you to know about who's really pulling the strings behind this resistance. And patriots, while Trump battles the globalist agenda, your retirement savings are under attack. The same elites pushing for control of our economy are the ones devaluing your dollars through endless money printing. But there is a solution they don't want you to know about. Call Global Gold Investments. The number's on the screen, 888-700-4148 for your free 2025 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. And when you mention Next News, you'll receive a complimentary portfolio analysis and up to $1,000 in free silver for January retirement rollovers. Don't let inflation eat away your savings. Secure your future with real money. Gold. All right, let's get into it. We thank our sponsors for making this show possible, and you guys make the show possible. Did you guys hear this? This just happened. Oh boy. Eric Darty, 49 minutes ago. A constitutional amendment has been filed allowing President Trump to seek a third term in office. What do you think about that? Not a bad idea. We got some text here from that. It was filed by Congressman Andy Ogles out of Tennessee, the Republican. He says, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times, nor be elected to any additional term after being elected 2 consecutive terms, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. Did you get that? 3 terms in office. Is that something you'd like to see? Would you like to see Donald Trump run for a 3rd term? A constitutional amendment is a pretty steep hill for them to close the deal on that. So I don't think it's going to happen, but we can always pray for it. But something we won't pray for is Lisa Murkowski. No. Yeah, she's on the big no list on confirming Pete Hegseth. What a surprise, right? Lisa Murkowski, she never actually received this job that she has as a senator. She was appointed by her father, purest form of nepotism ever. And of course, she just continues to run, keep running out the clock. And now she's just a big Trump hater. I don't know why. I mean, how can the people of Alaska stand for this? They got a messed up voting system up there. But we've got this now. Okay. Donald Trump was on fire. We got a lot of clips here. This is a stacked segment. Donald Trump was on fire. He was talking to the folks at Davos via remote. Oh, they were quite excited to have him too. In fact, I think we have the initial clip of when. Yeah, we got the clip here. Wow, look at all these clips we got, guys. It's huge. It's huge, as Donald Trump would say. Here's the opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, on behalf of all the 3,000 participants here in Davos. We really underline that joining us the 3rd day in your presidency, live taking questions here, is so appreciated, and we are already ready for receiving you next year in person. So thank you very much, and all the best from Davos.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yep, they are getting ready to kiss the ring in Davos. The globalists know that their days are numbered. Let's listen to some of the first remarks here.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt. Under the Trump administration, there will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA. Already Americans, you can see this, I think, maybe even in your wonderful, wonderful room that you're all gathered together, so many of my friends, but Americans, the economic confidence is soaring like we haven't seen in many, many decades, maybe not at all. Upon my election, it was just announced that small business optimism skyrocketed by 41 points in a single month. That's the highest ever. There's never been anything like that.
Oh, and it's only beginning, friends. It's only beginning. The wrecking ball. Breitbart News posting this. The World Economic Forum wrecking ball. Trump tells Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan that big banks need to stop debanking conservatives. Says it right to his face. Listen to this.
I hope you, and by the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives, because what you're doing is wrong.
Mr. President, I'll say that your friend Gianni said hello, told me to tell you hello, and we look forward to sponsoring the World Cup when it comes both this summer for the club and next year. So thank you for getting that for the United States.
And
yeah, he didn't even address it. It's about time we had a president who can lay into these globalists, these elite bankers, and tell them what time it is. How many conservatives have been debanked? How many alternative platforms have sprung up for shopping, for banking? Because the radical left was so rabid in canceling conservative speech, they would go as far as to delete their bank accounts. It's one thing to get censored on social media, and I know what that feels like personally, but to be completely debanked is unconscionable. And now at least we have a president who's taking these people to task. Thank God. Here's a banker who says the quiet part out loud. That net zero, truth is net zero is just big business. Wow. It's all coming out now, isn't it?
That's what we do. We come up with the reliance on fossil fuels. But when we set this up at Standard Chartered in the beginning, it was two prongs. One was we've got to do our bit to do the right thing vis-a-vis our clients, because they want to transition to a net zero environment, but it requires massive investment. That's what we do. We come up with those dollars. But two is we make money. Right? It's a big business for us. And we made we gave the guidance, the reliance on fossil fuel.
It's big business for us. And we've got this. Remember how Donald Trump's been talking about the Canadian economy, tariffs there, putting so much pressure on Canada that Justin Trudeau was forced to resign. Well, he just brought up Canada as the 51st state again at Davos.
One thing we're going to be demanding is we're going to be demanding respect from other nations. Canada, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We can't do it. I don't know if it's good for them. As you probably know, I say you can always become a state. And if you're a state, we won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you, et cetera, et cetera. But Canada has been very tough to deal with over the years. And it's not fair that we should have a $200 billion or $250 billion deficit. We don't need them to make our cars, and they make a lot of them. We don't need their lumber because we have our own forests, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need their oil and gas. We have more than anybody.
Yeah, we don't need them. They need us more than we need them. Trump also did an interview with Sean Hannity, and the discussion of the JFK files came up.
All the files.
It was an eighth of an inch. The entire ride was an eighth of an inch.
Will you investigate these assassination attempts? And you stated that you will release the files, all of the files, as it relates to the JFK assassination. And by the way, this is his desk.
Yeah, that's right.
This is where John Kennedy, little
John Kennedy. It's a movable door.
Yeah.
It's a little door there. That's where John was.
John, yeah. And RFK, and also Martin Luther King Jr., and that you will be transparent. This was going to happen in the first
So many people have asked me to do that. And I did it with Kennedy to an extent. But I was asked by some of our government officials not to. And, you know, you have to respect them. I was actually asked by Mike Pompeo, who's Secretary of State, not to. And I felt he knew something that maybe, you know, when he asks you not to, you sort of say, why? And he felt that it was just not a good time to release him. And you might ask him why. Maybe he'll deny that even. But he did. He asked me. And some others also, though. They didn't want the Kennedy stuff released. And they're professionals, and I respect them. And they're working for me and the country. They're working for the country. And so I didn't release. But I'm going to release them immediately upon getting. We're going to see the information. We're looking at it right now. It was an 8.
Oh, and we'll have a lot more on that a little bit later. But the good news is the executive order was signed. President Trump, however, speaking of Mike Pompeo, yeah, do you believe this? He went ahead and revoked the security detail for Mike Pompeo. Yep. That's how much he thinks about Mike Pompeo. We've also got this. Remember how Donald Trump said he wanted the Taliban to return all of the military equipment? Well, the Taliban has now officially refused President Trump's demand to return the $7 billion in U.S. military equipment they seized during the withdrawal back in 2021. So does that mean we have to go and get it ourselves? Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, Mike Pompeo, Secret Service details been revoked. This was ordered directly by President Trump. Also, we're finding out this. Vladimir Putin is reportedly pushing for the extradition of Dr. Anthony Fauci to Russia to face charges of crimes against humanity related to the pandemic as part of a proposed deal to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. That is supposedly actually being negotiated, something I strongly support. I'm sure you guys do too. Again, Trump revoking the security detail for Pompeo. And now we're getting some mixed messages, apparently, from Syria's new regime, welcoming Trump while internally minority groups are raising red flags. What's going on here?
Noticed, Laura, never a dull moment in the Middle East. As you know, we're trying to figure out what's happening next in Syria. A lot of mixed messages and mixed actions, as we've all noticed. On the diplomatic arena, I think the new Syrian government is doing well. Internally, there are a lot of complaints we're hearing, especially from minority groups and, you know, issues like women's rights, minorities.
I mean, look at those guys. I mean, who knew that terrorists could get in suits and look so clean cut, right?
I think there is an ongoing struggle by HTS to figure out how will they manage a country the size of Syria with very little experience.
Okay, we got breaking news. Trump expected to pardon 10 pro-life activists persecuted by the Biden DOJ and imprisoned under the FACE Act. Lauren Handy, 57 months in prison. John Hinshaw, Jonathan Darnell, Herb Garrity, John Marshall, Joan Bell, Paulette Harlow, Bevelyn Williams, Heather Idoni, and Calvin Zastro. So this is a big deal, and I hope that President Trump does that. Definitely. With all the pardons he's giving, those people definitely deserve it. Speaking of pardons, Deborah Birx, she did not receive a pardon. Anthony Fauci received a pardon from Joe Biden. So we're finding out now Deborah Birx did not, and that leaves her open to charges with the crimes that she committed with Anthony Fauci against the American people. Also, we're finding out that Trump has now removed Pride Month. Full removal of Pride Month to institute Veterans Month instead. Do you support that? Wow, that's huge too. Also, the Ross Ulbricht pardon is official. If you don't know who he is, he launched a website that would change Bitcoin forever. He was only 26 years old. At 29, he was sentenced to die in prison. After 10 years behind bars, Donald Trump just pardoned him. Yes, it was long overdue. Here's President Trump discussing the election talking about the radical left and their philosophies. This was again with Sean Hannity.
But it showed us that the radical left, their philosophies and policies are horrible. They don't work. You look at crime, you look at what's gone on at the border, you look at what's going to happen to crime. I mean, the crime that's going to happen. But I think we got there just in the nick of time. But we still have you covered better than anybody. We have terrorists in our country by the thousands. We have murderers in our country by the tens of thousands. We have numbers that came out, 11,000 people that murdered are now free and walking around in our country. And of them, I think 48%, they say, killed more than one person, and they're walking around. They came out of jails from other countries. And, people, they've emptied their jails. I would, if I were the president or prime minister or something of another country, I'd empty my jails right into America, into the United States. Why not? And many of them did it. If you look at Venezuela, their crime rate is down now 78%. Because they took their street gangs and they moved them into the United States. And you're seeing that in Colorado and Los Angeles and other places. And we're going to take care of it.
It's a whole new world, my friends. President Trump, the State Department issuing the one flag policy. American flags can be flown, nothing else. So we will not be seeing pride flags raised over the White House or any embassies or any government buildings. We've also got this. Okay, President Trump weighing in on the immigration crisis with Sean Hannity as well. We're going to have more on the ICE raids in a moment, but let's listen into this.
This was a gross miscarriage of common sense to allow people to come in. And I believe the number is 21 million people, and a large percentage of them are criminals. All over the world. This is not just South America. This isn't, we talk Venezuela, that's a big abuser, but these are countries from
Iran,
the Congo, countries that you don't even think of. The Congo has emptied their prisons out into the United States. We're not thinking about the Congo, we're thinking about South America. It's much more than South America. But prisons from all over the world have been emptied out into our country by Biden, allowing it to happen. I don't even know if he knew what the hell was going on, but who would want this? I always say to people, you always like to understand, like in a business here, you want to understand the other side. Why do they want something, et cetera, and you figure it out. And there's usually an answer, almost always. I don't understand, why does somebody want open borders and they say the vote, okay, but I did well with the Hispanic vote, if you're looking at Hispanic. They say they do it because they want to think they're going to stay in power. It's going to be better for Democrats. I don't really believe that. Besides that, they cheat so much. They don't have to do that. They cheat so well. They're very good at cheating. The only thing they're good at really is cheating. But here's the thing I ask. Why would somebody say that open borders are good, where jails and mental institutions from other countries and gang members right off the streets of the toughest cities in the world are being brought to the United States of America and emptied out into our country? Why would anybody that even likes, you don't have to love our country, you have to like it. Why would anybody that likes our country, the Democrats, allow that to happen? And even now, I watch them on television, they're trying to justify it. You can't justify it. The only reason it can be is two reasons. You're stupid, and I don't think they're stupid. I think anybody that cheats that much and that well is not stupid. You're either stupid or you hate the country. Those are the only two reasons.
Well, he said he doesn't think they're stupid, so they hate they hate the country and Trump. And here's something that needs to be brought to everyone's attention. This is a veiled threat, in my opinion, from Donald Trump directly to Joe Biden.
All had to do with pardon. This guy went around giving everybody pardons. And the funny thing, maybe the sad thing, is he didn't give himself a pardon. And if you look at it, it all had to do with him. Pardon.
He didn't give himself a pardon. Oh, yeah. Here's more President Trump roasting Crooked Joe's final days in office.
Did he know Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, who got a preemptive pardon, all these people that got pardoned, Anthony Fauci, did he know that NIH money through the EcoHealth Alliance was funding the Wuhan virology lab? There seems to be text and messages and emails that went back and forth. you talk about the unselect committee, as you call it, the January 6th committee. They had a predetermined outcome. General Milley, all these people, the Biden family members. Joe Biden ran and said he would never do preemptive pardons. It was an issue that came up when you were leaving in your first time.
He heard that I was going to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was given the option. They said, sir, would you like to pardon everybody, including yourself? I said, I'm not going to pardon anybody. We didn't do anything wrong. And we had people that suffered. They're incredible patriots. We had people that suffered. You had Bannon put in jail. You had Peter Navarro put in jail. You had people that suffered. And far worse than that, they've lost their fortunes. They've lost their nest egg, paying it to lawyers. And those people, and people said, and they wouldn't have even taken, most of those people, they wouldn't have even taken a pardon. This guy went around giving everybody pardons. And you know, the funny thing, maybe the sad thing, is he didn't give himself a pardon. And if you look at it, it all had to do with him. I mean, the money went to him.
Should Congress investigate that?
Well, I don't know. It's, you know,
you ordered the DOJ.
I've always been, look, he didn't give himself a pardon. And he didn't give some other people a pardon that needed it. And I heard Schiff went to him and just begged him for a pardon, because Schiff is a crook. Yeah. Schiff is a crooked guy. He's a crooked politician. He made up the story about Russia. He totally made it up. You know, he's a storyteller. And then after he made it up, they found out that there was a tape of the conversation made by, you know, I guess the State Department. I don't know. When you make calls, they make tapes sometimes, not all the time.
He was the one talking to the Russians.
So he, in the meantime, made up the conversation, totally made it up about quid pro quo. There was no quid pro quo, just there was a perfect call. Tim Scott was the first one to come. He read it. He said, this is a perfect call. What are you doing? You're impeaching a man for a perfect call. It was Schiff, Hillary, the whole group. You know what? Schiff is just a bad, sick guy. And he went to Biden and he demanded a pardon because he thought he did something. He knew he did something.
Joe Biden.
Wow. President Trump now also labeling the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization. That's good news. More on the Hannity interview. President Trump discussing the assassination attempt on his life.
Yes.
Do you believe that moment? People say to me, they see a change in you. Do you believe you've changed? Is this, for example, increased your faith in God?
Yes, I think so. I don't think I've changed, but I think that has taken place, yeah. Because when you look at statistically, I should never be here. I mean, if I don't turn I'm looking at an immigration chart, my favorite chart ever in history. Yeah. Even if the numbers were bad, I would.
I mean, we're talking about assassination, and you're telling jokes.
No, can you
believe it? But it's terrible.
No,
I remember that day. Like
when I turned, and it had to be at an exactly 90-degree angle, and I said, "Throw down the chart" or something to that effect, and they bring the chart. And I'm literally looking exactly at the right angle. I couldn't have even been a little further or a little bit less. It would have whacked, because it was 1/8 of an inch. The entire ride was 1/8 of an inch.
Do you believe?
Wow. This nation literally dodged a bullet. We've also got this news after President Trump said he would only visit Saudi Arabia if they started buying more American products. The Saudi Crown Prince just called and said they want to invest $600 billion in the United States. Here we have more. This is some of his remarks at Davos.
Truly historic. Thank you very much, Klaus, and hello to everyone in beautiful Davos. This has been a truly historic week in the United States. 3 days ago, I took the oath of office, and we began the golden age of America. The recent presidential election was won by millions of votes, and all 7, every one of them, all 7 swing states. There was a massive mandate from the American people like hasn't been seen in many years. And some of the political pundits, even some of my so-called enemies, said it was the most consequential election victory in 129 years. That's quite nice. What the world has witnessed in the past 72 hours is nothing less than a revolution of common sense. Our country will soon be stronger, wealthier, and more united than ever before, and the entire planet will be more peaceful and prosperous as a result of this incredible momentum and what we're doing and going to do. Thank you.
The golden age is upon us, my friends. Here he is blasting FEMA with Sean Hannity.
Democrats, FEMA is getting in the way of everything, and the Democrats actually use FEMA not to help North Carolina.
It makes no sense.
So I'm stopping on Friday. I'm stopping in North Carolina, first stop, because those people were treated very badly by Democrats. And I'm stopping there. We're going to get that thing straightened out because they're still suffering from a hurricane from months ago. And then I'm going to go to California. I'll go to FEMA.
I mean, who can ever forget what Joe Biden's FEMA did when they actually rejected going to homes with Trump signs during that disaster? Here's President Trump talking about his message to every business in the world.
With the president, I have promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every new regulation, which will soon put many thousands of dollars back in the pockets of American families. To further unleash our economy, our majorities in the House and Senate, which we also took along with the presidency, are going to pass the largest tax cut in American history, including massive tax cuts for workers and family, and big tax cuts for domestic producers and manufacturers. And we're working with the Democrats on getting an extension of the original Trump tax cuts, as you probably know, by just reading any paper. My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt. Under the Trump administration, there will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA.
I think there was a nod to the External Revenue Service, which he had just created. We're going to be watching that very closely. We've also got this. Oh, yeah. I'm sure he mentioned this in his inaugural speech, but now he's making it on the global stage.
And I've made it official, an official policy of the United States, that there are only two genders, male and female. And we will have no men participating in women's sports, and transgender operations, which became the rage, will occur very rarely. And I've made...
That's wonderful news. And it's crazy that we even have to have a president make a declaration like that. But this is the clown world that we are coming out of now. President Trump also had these remarks about his trip to North Carolina and Los Angeles. There's another fire raging there.
Abandoned by the... We're going to take care of Los Angeles. I'm going there. I'm going to North Carolina, which has been abandoned by the Democrats. And I'm going to North Carolina, very importantly, first. I'll be there on Friday. And then I'm going from there to Los Angeles.
President Trump talking about giving rapid approvals to building what we need for the businesses of tomorrow.
To many people, and what I'd like to see is rapid approvals. We're going to give very rapid approvals in the United States, like with the AI plants, talking to many people want to build them. That's going to be a very big thing. We're going to build electric generating facilities. They are going to build. I'm going to get them the approval. Under emergency declaration, I can get the approvals done myself without having to go through years of waiting. And the big problem is we need double the energy we currently have in the United States. Can you imagine? For AI to really be as big as we want to have it, because it's a very competitive, it'll be very competitive with China and others. So I'm going to give emergency declarations so that they can start building them almost immediately. And I'm I think it was largely my idea because nobody thought this was possible. It wasn't that they were not smart because they're the smartest, but I told them that what I want you to do is build your electric generating plant right next to your plant as a separate building connected. And they said, wow, you're kidding. And I said, no, I'm not kidding. You don't have to hook into the grid, which is old and, could be taken out. If it's taken out, they wouldn't have any way to get any electricity. So we are going to allow them to go on a very rapid basis to build their plant, build the electric generating plant. They can fuel it with anything they want, and they may have coal as a backup, good, clean coal, And what
AI sucks energy. AI is an energy hog. And if we don't step up our energy game, we're going to be left in the dust. The other nations are going to eat us for lunch with their AI plans. So we need to be at the forefront of this game. Whether you like AI or not, it's here to stay. And we better learn how to use it as a tool for us. Okay? Faith leaders, remember this bishopess who lectured Trump? Well, Washington Examiner reports that faith leaders objected to the bishop over the inaugural sermon that criticized Trump, thankfully. And we have this. President Trump asked the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia to bring down the cost of oil.
$600 billion. It's also reported today in the papers that Saudi Arabia will be investing at least $600 billion in America, but I'll be asking the Crown Prince, who's a fantastic guy, to round it out to around $1 trillion. I think they'll do that because we've been very good to them. And I'm also going to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil. You got to bring it down, which, frankly, I'm surprised they didn't do before the election. That didn't show a lot of love by them not doing it. I was a little surprised by that. If the price came down, the Russia-Ukraine war would end immediately. Right now, the price is high enough that war will continue. You got to bring down the oil price. You got to end that war. They should have done it long ago. They're very responsible, actually, to a certain extent for what's taking place. Millions of lives are being lost. With oil prices going down, I'll demand that interest rates drop immediately, and likewise, they should be dropping all over the world. Interest rates should follow us. All over, the progress that you're seeing is happening because of our historic victory in a recent presidential election, one that has become quite well known throughout the world. I think a lot of things are happening to a lot of countries. They say that there's light shining all over the world since the election, and even countries that we aren't particularly friendly with are happy because they understand what there is a future and how great the future will be. Under our leadership, America is back and open for business, and it's also
America's back and open for business. This is what leadership looks like, folks. This is what it looks like. This is when a president takes the bull by the horns on the global stage and tells them who the frickin' boss is. Okay? Joe Biden would stumble up on that stage if he was even able to get on the stage, and he would just fumble through his teleprompter speech. This guy is just going off the cuff. And he is showing what true leadership looks like. Isn't that right, President Trump?
Oh, Don, you're a little controversial. You're talking about illegal immigration. I said it's illegal.
Okay, sorry, I had to do that. No longer. Oh, this is so beautiful, friends. This one hits me personally. Donald Trump talking about free speech.
Change of ideas. In addition, I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly. In addition,
free speech is back, friends. It is back. What else have we got here? Oh, let's see. We got more. This is heavily stacked. Okay, here we have more. on crime and inflation from the moment he took office.
From the moment I took office, I've taken rapid action to reverse each and every one of these radical left policies that created this calamity, in particular with immigration, crime, and inflation. On day one, I signed an executive order directing every member of my cabinet to marshal all powers at their disposal to defeat inflation and reduce the cost of daily life. I imposed a federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, a foreign aid freeze, and I created the new Department of Government Efficiency. I terminated the ridiculous and incredibly wasteful Green New Deal. I call it the Green New Scam. Withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord and ended the insane and costly electric vehicle mandate. We're going to let people buy the car they want to buy. I declared a national energy emergency, and it's so important, national energy emergency to unlock the liquid gold under our feet and pave the way for rapid approvals of new energy infrastructure. The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we're going to use it. Not only will this reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services, it'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. My administration has also begun the largest deregulation campaign in history, far exceeding even the record-setting efforts of my last term.
Oh, baby, America is about to be unleashed. I am so excited for what's about to happen in this country. And this is only day 4, folks. I mean, I remember in 2016, of course, every president in their first term, they always have to kind of soft toe around things and eggshell it because they want to make sure they can get into the next election. Well, of course, we know what happened. He didn't win. It was stolen from him by the radical Democrats, and they installed Joe Biden, and they screwed that up for 4 years. That gave Trump 4 years to regroup, and now he's hitting the ground running on day 4. Oh my goodness, I am so excited for everything that we're seeing happening. This is only the beginning. Mike Pompeo, sorry about that, buddy. No more security detail for you. And we're going to keep on winning, folks. Are you tired of winning yet? I'm not tired of winning. How about that constitutional amendment? 3rd term in office? I'll bite. So, folks, the battle lines are drawn. President Trump's message to the world couldn't be clearer. America is open for business, but only on our terms. He's not just talking about bringing jobs back. He's forcing the issue with strategic tariffs and aggressive policy changes. And the globalists at Davos can squirm all they want, but their days of exploiting American workers are numbered. This is what real economic nationalism looks like. So here's the question we need you to answer in the comments. Do you support Trump's ultimatum to global corporations? Build in America or pay massive tariffs? Let us know below. And speaking of showing your support, our exclusive Mag Avengers collection has dropped at the Next News merch shop. These limited edition designs won't last long, so hit the link in the description. What is up, baby? Yeah, baby. I am excited and stoked for everything that is happening in this country right now. Woo, baby. We had, I think, some action in the super chat world. Let's take a look at what happened here during the stream. Whoa. There's quite a few memberships that were just gifted. Holy cow. Eric has just become a member, and then he gifted 20 Next News Network memberships. Eric, wow, thank you for that. That is remarkable. What a generous gift. Everyone, thank Eric in the comments, in the chat. How nice of him. Jay Flo and Robert and the Hawk, all these people, everyone getting memberships. Wow. And Cola Buds dropping $10. Great stream, Gary. Thanks a bunch. Thank you for that $10 spot right there. We appreciate that. You keep us going here. Creole Lady, yeah, what's up? Desert Dog and Joy and Derek and Larmy. And stay positive and smoochy. Good to see you guys here tonight. All right, we got some more news to jump into. Lots happening on the Doge and DEI deep state front. We want to make sure we get on this deal. Let's go deep. What's happening in our federal agencies right now is nothing short of a revolution. Federal bureaucrats are scrambling as Trump's anti-DEI orders are sending shockwaves through the system. And we've just learned that these agencies were spending millions, your tax dollars, on radical diversity programs. But here's what they don't want you to know. These bureaucrats are now secretly rebranding their DEI positions to dodge Trump's plan. Meanwhile, sanctuary cities are facing a brutal reality check as federal agents raid immigration lawyers' offices. The deep state is in panic mode, and tonight we're exposing every single detail. Now, the deep state bureaucrats who've been wasting your tax dollars on DEI programs are the same ones destroying your retirement's value through reckless spending. While they print money to fund their radical agenda, your savings lose value by the day. That's why smart Americans are turning to Global Gold Investments. Give them a call, 888-700-4148, and receive your free 2025 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide when you mention Next News. You also get a complimentary portfolio analysis, plus receive up to $1,000 in free silver for January retirement rollovers. Don't let them devalue your future. Okay, so we got a lot. Speaking of Doge, did you hear about this? 3 in 10 Tesla owners are revolting, planning to sell their cars because of Elon Musk's antics. Really? Is that you're going to sell your car because you don't like what the mainstream media told you about a hand gesture that he made, that they lied to you about? Yeah, whatever. They just can't handle it. Move along. But we're finding out now, this is wild, okay, folks? This is just in from James O'Keefe, man. This guy just keeps the hits coming. And these deep state rats who are in Washington, D.C., they fall for this trick every single time. They get honeypotted by James O'Keefe's media group every day. And it's really embarrassing. So the deep state is real. We find out now. The White House advisor revealing how bureaucracy protects its own interests. Predicts bureaucracy will crush RFK Jr. as HHS secretary. Oh boy, let's listen here.
The White House.
People joke about the deep state, but to some degree it's real because they have ways that they can slow things down or block you without you realizing it.
Meet Byron Cohen, an advisor at the White House.
RFK Jr. is a very bad pick for HHS. There's a good chance that the bureaucracy just crushes him.
Is there anything that you're going to do?
I would consider slowing things down. I can't really think of anyone who I would less rather have be president than Trump.
Can you give me an example of how you think they'll do it when RFK gets in?
One thing you might be able to do to sort of make him think something is happening when it's not.
The White House advisor explains how the administrative state creates deceptive commissions to hinder executive decisions.
One of the ways you can slow things down in a bureaucracy is you can commit to studying something. Put together
Okay, hang on a second, guys. You see, James O'Keefe is right next to the guy. He's right next to him. Oh, man. Oh my goodness. Oh, man, this is too good, James.
Commission. Mr. Secretary, we're going to put together a commission to study the safety of fluoride in water. Mr. Secretary, we're going to put together a commission to study vaccine safety. And we'll let you know when the report comes out. And he'll be like, yes, great. And then years will pass and nothing has happened. A sophisticated bureaucrat can do a lot to run around an unsophisticated political.
Byron says that when it comes to certain policy positions, subverting the will of the people is justified.
Would it be subverting the will of the people to crush RFK or block him or whatever?
For the most part, the American people don't actually agree with RFK's views on things like vaccines. So, I mean, in a literal sense, if you were like blocking something he was trying to do to undermine vaccines, you are probably acting in a way that is consistent with what the majority wants.
Oh, and who determines what the majority wants? CDC, National Institute of Health, and the policy papers that they put out that you guys distribute, and then you think that that becomes the majority opinion? Oh, believe me, there's many a people who disagree with those positions. The audacity here. Dating the deep state. Oh, James O'Keefe. We're going to go ahead and make sure we retweet that. You guys can hit on our X profile and you can watch the whole thing. Hats off to James O'Keefe. And if you see something, say something. This is the ICE tip line right there on your screen, 866-DHS-2-ICE. That's the number to call. It's 24/7 intake center that processes tip information related to the federal statutes enforced by HSI. Every day, the ICE tip line receives information through calls and online tipsters located throughout the United States and worldwide. So, write that number down. Seriously, get a pen, pause this video, do whatever you got to do. Write it down. Put it in your phone. Save it as a contact. ICE tip line, 866-DHS-2-ICE. And you can report a crime. Okay, so this is interesting. And this is a rumor. I'm just making it very clear. Rumors are rife that Trump might actually defund NASA. I mean, when you think about what Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX, he's making NASA look like a joke, right? Let's hear what was said here in this video.
Glitches. Good afternoon, commissioners. Today I'd like to bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in York County. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment.
Okay, well, I didn't think he was going to go there. But of course, there are many people that think that a lot that we see from NASA isn't exactly true. Now we're finding out this. The FBI and DHS have raided the offices of Joseph Flynn, no relation to the general, a prominent immigration lawyer in Providence, Rhode Island, which is a designated sanctuary city. Let's see what's going on here in this clip. Oh, here we go. Hey, guys. Oh, yeah. So Joseph Flynn, I can only assume, was allegedly assisting illegals skirt the law. So mess around and you find out, as they say. In Doge news, the National Endowment for the Arts spent, ready for this, $365,000 to promote circuses in city parks. Oh, is that something important to you? Circuses in city parks? I mean, we have circuses in Washington, D.C. every day. Do we need to see them in our city parks? Federal government funding a circus is a sideshow. Over the past several years, the National Endowment for the Arts granted Fern Street Community Arts $365,000. Well, there are going to be some pissed off clowns in that circus. Now, of course, you know, DEI, the order to cancel all of the DEI offices in the federal government, it went out about 2 days ago. Yesterday at 5 o'clock, they were all supposed to get shut down. And inside that executive order, it specifically stated that you got to shut down, notify all your employees, and do not rebrand your department. Don't take it and template it something else and change the name. Well, that's exactly what these people are doing. Obviously, they didn't read the executive order, but what bureaucrats in D.C. really read anything that's handed to them, right? Samasor says DEI is absolutely not dead. It's actively trying to rebrand. Marxist ideology didn't take root in our institution of higher learning, fed in the corporate world over decades, simply to be kicked out after one election. Expect subversion on every institution and agency. What do we have here? Organization of the Cultural Office. This we refer to as Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Office. Now it's called the Organizational Cultural Office. See what they're doing here? Rebrand. Robbie Starbuck makes it a point to state that, where'd it go? Robbie Starbuck makes it a point to say, I see a lot of people saying DEI is dead. It's not. It's cornered and in a position to die, but we must be punishing and relentless in finishing this ideology off. No mercy. Here's what the ATF did. Did you hear about this? The ATF defied when they defile the Second Amendment every day. The ATF defied Real Donald Trump's order to place DI workers on leave, instead giving their DI officer a new title. I apologize for the bandwidth issue here, but on the left side, you see Lisa T. Boykin. In January 21st of 2025, she was listed as the Chief Diversity Officer. On the right side, one day later, she's now simply labeled a Senior Executive. How do you like them apples? So, the ATF already taking steps to skirt Donald Trump's executive orders. And here we have the FCC chief, Brendan Carr. He says people would be shocked if they learned how much DEI had been embedded in agencies. Listen to this.
Tale of two reactions.
Look, I know you're not responsible for every government agency, but maybe you can explain how deeply embedded DEI is in these agencies. We looked at your agency. DEI is in the strategic plan, the budget, the advisory group, the equity and action plan, the task force, the economic report. I mean, why is it everywhere?
Yeah, look, it's wild, but it's been a really great 48 hours here in Washington. You know, most officials come to this city and they hope to turn the ship of government maybe 1 degree here, 2 degrees there. President Trump has come in and he's fundamentally shattered that mindset. He's grabbed the wheel to these hundreds of executive actions. He's turned the ship around and he's setting us out on a course for a great American revival. And here in D.C., it's sort of been a tale of two reactions. For the swamp, it's been a rough 48 hours. I think they describe it more as shock and awe. But for the patriotic Americans, they feel like this sense of decline, the sense of malaise that's taken over the country over the last 4 years is ending. And the way President Trump is doing it is going right to the source of that decline, and he's getting rid of it root and branch, and DEI is part of it. To your point, people would be shocked if they learned how much DEI had been embedded in agencies. At the FCC alone, we were spending millions and millions of dollars promoting it. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, that's ending, and we're getting things turned around, focusing on our core mission of actually just connecting Americans.
Look, I know you're not
connecting Americans. That's what matters, not DEI. Here we have federal bureaucrats stealth editing job descriptions of diversity roles at government agencies. America PAC posting this from Steve Guest.
Of Defense, CNN analyzed the proposed budgets of 20 federal agencies. HHS, for example, requested $113 million in its budget for training for diversity in the health workforce. And the Department of Defense asked for $50 million to fund DEI-related activities. That amount accounts for just 0.006% of the department's total budget request, according to a spokesperson. The Biden administration expanded DEI protections to a broader group of Americans, including women, rural communities, military spouses, and caregivers.
The battle for America's soul is playing out right before our eyes. Trump's war on wasteful spending and DEI programs isn't just about saving money, it's about saving our country's identity. These bureaucrats thought they could hide their radical agenda by simply changing job titles, but Trump's team is already onto their game. The raids on sanctuary cities are just the beginning of the massive pushback against those who've been undermining our laws and values. So here's tonight's question for you. Should federal employees who try to circumvent Trump's DEI ban face immediate termination? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out our exclusive MAG Avengers gear in the Next News merch shop. Wear patriotism with pride. Got some breaking news tonight. ICE's elite units are storming sanctuary cities across America, targeting what they're calling the worst of the worst criminal aliens. We've got exclusive footage from Boston, where federal agents are going door to door despite local officials' resistance. One Haitian criminal with 17 convictions shouted "Biden forever" while being arrested, perfectly summarizing the disaster of the last 4 years. But here's what the media won't show you. These raids are just the beginning of Trump's massive immigration crackdown. And while Biden's open borders flooded our nation with millions of illegal aliens, your retirement savings were being devalued by reckless spending. Now more than ever, you need to protect your wealth from this financial invasion. Call Global Gold Investments at 888-700-4148. Receive your free 2025 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. When you mention Next News, you'll get a complimentary portfolio analysis and up to $1,000 in free silver for January retirement rollovers. Don't let illegal immigration and inflation destroy your financial security. Here is the cover of the New York Post. The Ice Man cometh. Isn't that something? Oh, yes, the Ice Man cometh. You better watch out, because they are going back.
Away from them. I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil, who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien, charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction. And this Dominican illegal alien, charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking. Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member, facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies. And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally. This is what ICE calls collateral.
So you guys got your main target just now, but you got somebody else. What just happened?
So our main target was released by a sanctuary jurisdiction, not honoring a detainer. That person was released back into the community, and when we went to go find him, he's with somebody else who was previously removed from the United States. So he's going to go today too.
And that is exactly what Border Czar Tom Homan has warned would happen.
When we find the bad guy, he's probably with others that are in the United States illegally. They may not be a criminal priority, but we're not walking away from them.
ICE Boston says they will continue to go into sanctuary jurisdictions and do their job.
Today was a good day. Today we took several significant public safety threats out of our communities. Unfortunately, a lot were released by sanctuary policies, but we're here to tell the Commonwealth and the rest of the country that we're going to find them whether they're released or not.
And guys, shortly after we finished filming, ICE Boston told us they arrested 2 more targets in other parts of town away from our cameras. One of those targets is a previously deported Honduran illegal alien who was arrested for raping a woman while putting a gun in her mouth. The other target they got is a Haitian man who first flew into the United States in 2023 as part of President Biden's controversial migrant flights mass parole program. Well, they just picked him up yesterday because he's been arrested locally for sexual assault. We'll send it back to you.
Film illusion.
Wow. Oh, but then we got the New York City mayor, the former Bill de Blasio, trying to defend sanctuary cities and open borders, claiming the Constitution gives localities the power to defy federal immigration laws. He's pushing a dangerous idea that not asking about immigration status in schools, hospitals, and on the streets is keeping people safe, but it's just fueling illegal immigration and making America less secure. Time to secure the borders. Listen to this. Listen to this clown. Listen to this clown.
And joining us now is former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. Mayor, good to have you here. Lots of moving parts, obviously, on this issue of immigration. When you look at the buildup, the ramp up to these mass deportations, how should Democratic, local, state, federal leaders meet this moment?
Anna, I think we got to remember the Constitution is still fully in effect, and that means that states and localities have a lot of power in this equation. I think there's been so much angst over the Trump administration.
Excuse me. Wait a second. What did you say? Yes, the Constitution is in effect, but Donald Trump declared a state of emergency, so he's got special emergency powers. Remember the emergency powers you pushed on all of us during COVID, de Blasio? Remember that? Oh, you know very well how to execute emergency powers. Well, that's what Donald Trump's doing, pal. Suck it!
Coming in certain quarters, obviously among Democrats, there's almost been a little amnesia about what we saw in the previous 4 years. I spent 4 years as mayor of New York City, often having to challenge Donald Trump. We went to court many times. We actually won on a regular basis. We had the independent power as a locality to govern our own affairs. And this is a profoundly American reality. The founders created a country where a lot of the power devolved down to states and localities. They did not want a national government that controlled everything. So, for example, if you have a city like New York that says, we're not going to ask documentation status in our schools, hospitals, or with our police force talking to people out in the streets, they're not going to ask documentation status because that's how we actually keep people safe. Talk to NYPD leaders and they'll tell you, once you start asking people documentation status, no one's going to talk to you if they happen to have an undocumented status. And that means you can't protect the community.
Wait a second. Wait. Did you just say you can't ask for papers? You can't show wait a minute. I specifically recall there was a time in American history not too long ago where you had to show your papers. If you wanted to go to a freaking restaurant, if you wanted to go to your freaking Christmas party for your family, show me your papers. Are you tripping backstand boosted 6 feet away? Put on your mask. So you're gonna tell me we can't ask these guys for their papers? Yes, that's all you did for 2 freaking years when you locked us down. Nice try, pal. Listen, I know all about the 10th Amendment and separation of powers. I understand all those things. Yeah, that's what the founders wanted. Sovereignty for the states and locales, and if the power is not delegated to the federal government, it falls back to the states and the people. I get it. I know the game you're playing here, pal. But there was an emergency order issued. So submit to my authority. Man, I'm pissed. Can you tell I'm pissed? Does it seem like I'm angry? Here's more. This is the NBC version of the Boston raids.
Side. This afternoon, NBC 10 saw multiple unmarked SUVs here. 5 people, some wearing vests that said police federal agents on the back, went inside one of the apartment buildings. 2 agents waited outside, 1 person taken into custody that we saw. Whether this is connected to President Trump's effort to root out illegal immigrants, something he has promised to do, is unknown. We also saw federal agents at a building on Lexington Street, also here in East Boston. A witness there told us she saw 1 person arrested. There's roughly 11 million undocumented people around the country. President Trump has said the priority is finding and deporting those with criminal backgrounds.
That was NBC. What else have we got here? Charlie Kirk. Yeah, this is that guy that was saying F Trump and praise Joe Biden. Speaking of deportations, we've got this from the Daily Caller headline. Exclusive Jewish group gives Trump administration list of pro-Hamas foreign students and faculty to deport. Let's go. Let's go. You're going to praise a terrorist organization on our turf? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Why don't you go off to Palestine and fight with them? Make sure you bring your pride flag, too. Would you do that, please? Yeah, see how they welcome you there. I'm sure they're going to just open arms before they toss you off a roof. 12 hours ago, we got Trump's troops arriving at the border. God bless America! America, baby!
This morning, the first 1,500 U.S. troops are arriving at the southern border as President Donald Trump launches his long-promised crackdown on immigration. The active duty Army soldiers and Marines deployed to address what Trump declared is a national emergency. The Pentagon says the troops include military police units, combat engineers, and intelligence specialists who will aid with detection and monitoring. The military will also help construct new barriers along the border and provide air power for deportations. A senior defense official saying, "This is just the start. We are anticipating many further missions."
This is just the start. 1,500 troops is only the beginning. 10,000 are scheduled. Mostly peaceful memes writes, "We need to start a new show like Cops, but it's just ICE agents hunting down and deporting illegals. Bad boy, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when ICE comes for you?" Right? What you gonna do when homie comes for you? The games are over. Donald Trump's Department of Justice sent out a memo. Hell yeah, baby. Threatening arrests of government officials in sanctuary cities for not complying with ICE mass deportations. The U.S. Attorney's Office will prosecute. The DOJ memo cites the Supremacy Clause, saying the department is going after sanctuary cities to, quote, require state and local actors to comply with executive branch immigration enforcement initiatives, suggesting arrests are possible for obstruction. Arrest them all. Public trial on pay-per-view. How much? How much do I got to pay? $20? Sold. $50? Sold, baby. I watch those trials. Arrest them all. Public humiliation for every public official.
Otherwise, there will pay from this federal.
Chicago and other cities around the state have been bracing for ICE agents to begin.
Oh, this is ABC 7 Eyewitness News in my state of Illinois. Let's see what this guy's going to say.
Chicago and other cities around the state have been bracing for ICE agents to begin a sweeping effort to arrest and deport dozens of undocumented immigrants who are accused of serious criminal activity. But now the Department of Justice is setting up a new showdown over sanctuary laws in Illinois. Chicago sanctuary.
Wait. Can you arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson first? Can you do him first? I want to see that guy dragged out of City Hall in handcuffs. That is my prayer. That is my wish. President Trump, I know you're listening. I know you're a big fan of the show. Brandon Johnson. Let's go, Brandon.
City law prohibits law enforcement from cooperating with federal agents working to find or arrest undocumented people wanted for breaking the law. Now, a Department of Justice memo citing the Supremacy Clause says the department is going after sanctuary cities to, quote, require state and local actors to comply with the executive branch's immigration enforcement initiatives, suggesting arrests are possible for obstruction. U.S. attorneys' offices have been directed to, quote, investigate incidents involving any such misconduct for potential prosecution. Today,
Wait. Oh, man, I'm sorry, guys. I said Brandon Johnson. I really apologize. I meant J.B. Pritzker. That's who I meant. J.B. Pritzker. Start at the top. All right? Just tell him there's a buffet in prison and it's all you can eat. And he won't mind a bit.
An event at the Chicago Cultural Center, Mayor Johnson ignored questions from reporters, making a door-slamming exit. Alderman Ray Lopez, who fought to modify the sanctuary law to allow police to work with ICE in deporting violent criminals, says this is a warning shot.
Trump is going to be president for 4 years. We better figure it out and figure it out fast, because otherwise there will be hell to pay from this federal administration on the city of Chicago.
The DOJ has also formed a new special task force and reassigned personnel to various cities across the country, with Chicago a likely destination. And another working group is tasked with challenging in court sanctuary laws that impede immigration initiatives. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul says the Constitution forbids the federal government from compelling states to take immigration actions, but he still anticipates the Trust Act will be challenged in court.
Okay, yeah, so, okay, sure. Yeah, there again, we go back to the whole separation of powers, 10th Amendment, all these things, right? And, you know, I'm a big advocate. The county sheriff has the authority to stop the feds at the border. I get it. I know. All right? But that's like in a totally different case here. We're talking about criminal illegals. And these people are aiding and abetting and allowing these people to continue to terrorize communities. And that's why they should be held accountable.
Worry about having to go to court, given that the Department of Justice has just been weaponized to try to do something that district courts have already said violates the 10th Amendment.
With schools and churches no longer off limits for ICE agents, the community pushback is also growing.
And this is not going to intimidate us. We are working to reinforce our laws to protect our neighbors from a real, in my opinion, dictatorial way of conducting business in the White House.
Attorney General Kwame Raoul made it clear his office does work with the feds on criminal matters regularly, and nothing in the Trust Act, he says, the state sanctuary law, prohibits cooperating in criminal investigation matters, immigration matters, just civil ones. Chicago and other.
See, there it is. If they got a criminal case pending, bye-bye. Just show up. Just bring the proper warrants, and everything's going to go just fine. Trump's troop arriving at the border. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen to this one. Just be careful, folks. I'm going to play something for you. You might have to hold your ears on this one. I mean, look, you can see the face already. You know where this is going, right? You know where this is going. Dare I to unmute it? This is just one of the faces you're going to see constantly throughout the next 4 years as everybody is getting rounded up and sent home. It's not like they're being sent to prison. They're just being sent back home, where they came from, to their village or their hut or their mud flat, whatever it is. Okay, buckle up. Here it is.
Stupid! We came here because she wanted a better life for us. She wanted a better education for us. She wanted for us to have a better future. And now this is all gonna be taken away because of him. Because of that stupid! Oh my god. Stupid fucking felon! He's a felon! He's a villain! He's a felon! I don't want him here anymore. Again! I'm not coming back. I'm never coming back here until he leaves the house. He's ruining my life, her life, and the life of every single immigrant in this country. We came here because she wanted a better life for us. She wanted a better education for us. She wanted for us to have a better future. And now this is all gonna be taken away because of him. Because of that stupid. Oh my god. Stupid fucking felon! He's a felon! He's a villain! He's a felon! I don't want him here anymore. Again! I'm not coming back. I'm never coming back here until he leaves the house.
Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you swam the Rio Grande. I mean, did you think about the consequences of breaking the law before you broke it? And now here you are crying about it. My heart goes out to you. It does. Goes out to you. Oh, yes, it does. J.D. Vance, he even weighed in on that guy here, this guy, the screaming guy. The F Trump, F praise Biden. This guy here.
U.S. is much.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
I'm going to give me an Obama phone. Bet you he has an Obama phone. J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States. He had something to say. An illegal alien with 17 criminal convictions really hates President Trump for sending him back to Haiti. He's grateful to Biden for letting him come here. I'm glad we're deporting him. Do you agree? Or would you like him as your neighbor? Here's another one. In the first days of the Trump administration, has made more than 460 arrests of illegal immigrants, including those with criminal histories that include sexual assault, domestic violence, and drugs and weapons crimes. That is according to Fox News. Folks, this is only beginning. You're going to see faces like this over and over and over again. Get used to it. Don't let the media manipulate your emotions because these people broke the law. No. Remember, they're just going to go home. Just going back to the place where they were born. They're always welcome back. You see, that's the thing. They're welcome back. Just don't skip the line. My ancestors, generations ago, they didn't skip the line. No, they checked in at Ellis Island. That's what they did. And they waited. So how about you don't skip the line next time? Okay, what's this? Yeah, we got all that. So, the scene is being played out in Boston. Just the beginning. Trump's DOJ is now threatening to arrest sanctuary city officials who obstruct these deportations. The message is clear. The days of defying federal immigration laws are over. With 10,000 troops heading to the border and ICE raids intensifying, we're watching the most aggressive immigration enforcement operation in American history, and it's all unfolding now. So here is what we want you to weigh in on in the comments. Should sanctuary city officials who obstruct ICE operations face federal prosecution? Sound off in the comments below. And don't forget to grab your exclusive Mag Avengers gear on the way out by tapping the link in the description. Shop at nextnewsnetwork.com. Grab it all before it's gone. Some days I just lose my mind when I see the lunacy unfolding. Useful idiot. A couple super chats here. Thank you, useful idiot. Let's see here. I don't know. This stupid computer not even scrolling. Everything's breaking around here. What do you honestly think we'll find out in the JFK files? Secondly, do you think what the UPs are? Well, we're going to find out what's in those JFK files in a minute. We've got some breaking news on that. UAPs, I don't know. We're waiting on Donald Trump to break the news on that. He said he promised a press conference or something he's going to get to the bottom of. So we're just waiting. Oh, boy. What else have we got here? We got, he also says, I'd laugh if Alex showed up on your show while you were imitating him. Well, I don't know if Alex ever has any time. I mean, that guy's just like, feels like he's live for eternity. Joy Hoffman has now gifted one Next News member operative level. Okay. They can all suck my MAGA nuts. All right. Sorry. Okay, lots to get to here. Tonight, we're witnessing history unfold on two explosive fronts. First, Donald Trump has ordered the release of the final JFK, RFK, and MLK assassination files, documents that Mike Pompeo personally begged him to keep secret. But the bombshells don't stop there. A major confrontation is brewing over the Panama Canal, with China's growing control threatening America's vital interests. Trump's warning about retaking the canal has sparked international outrage, but here's where they're not telling you about who really controls this crucial waterway. And just as the truth about JFK was hidden for decades, the truth about your retirement security is being concealed by the financial elite. While global powers vie for control of critical assets like the Panama Canal, your savings are at risk. Call Global Gold Investments now at 888-700-4148. That's the number on the screen to receive your free 2025 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. Mention Next News for a complimentary portfolio analysis and up to $1,000 in free silver for January retirement rollovers. Don't let global uncertainty threaten your financial future. All right, folks, this is the moment that we have been waiting for a very long time. Donald Trump has just signed an executive order to declassify every last file on JFK, RFK, MLK. People have been waiting decades, he says, and listen to what he says at the end. When he signs the executive order with that executive pen, he says, give it to RFK Jr. Think about the implications here.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay. Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Give that to RFK Jr. Oh, my goodness. Give that pen to RFK Jr. Can you imagine that aide handing that pen to RFK Jr. saying, the president has just declassified the files on your father's assassination and your uncle's assassination. Finally, there will be justice. Mancal Mueller just posted this just a couple hours ago. Trump, clear and present. On the left is what the government released before. On the right is what Trump released. Finally, the truth about JFK, RFK, and MLK. And we're gonna show you in this video how you can access these files for yourself and investigate for yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's up to us, the citizen journalists, to break it down and release this information to the public. There's going to be a lot of sleuths going through this information, and you're going to be one of them, and I'm going to empower you. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you. Now, I would love to be able to read all this, but of course, as you can see, it is super, super small print. But this appears to be something called the Paris Letter from September 27th of 1960, the investigation at the Albert Schweitzer College located in Switzerland. Yeah, see, I'm not even going to be able to break this down for you at the moment because you know why? This just came out. This is so fresh, I haven't even had time to analyze it. But this has just come out. An audio recording has now emerged in which Clifton Carter, a former DNC executive, director, and close associate of Lyndon B. Johnson, allegedly implicates LBJ in the assassination of JFK. The recording suggests that Johnson orchestrated the plot, hiring Mac Wallace to carry out the assassination. The timing of the release is unusual given that Trump is expected to declassify the entire JFK files. Before his untimely death, JFK was working to have AIPAC register as a foreign agent. This new theory shifts blame from Israel and places it on LBJ.
From the good to see you. How's life treating you today? Well, Saul, it's been a pretty touch and go situation. Linda and I have had quite a few unpleasant words here lately over the deal with that he hired Mike Wallace to assassinate the president. It's been hectic in every way, but we've lived through it this far, and I guess we'll continue to do so. Lyndon should have never issued that order to Mike, but we've had our differences, and I'm a true blue to Lyndon, as I've always been, and tried to carry out every order that he's ever given me. But this is one I'll probably never be able to forget. And the times that we've had in Texas, and the embarrassment that Lyndon had gotten from Kennedy, I guess there wasn't anything else to do but what he did. Well, you know, Lyndon could have really hit me if he would. Well, Lyndon's the kind of person that doesn't want to help anyone. He's all for Lyndon, and that's the way he's pretty much always been. Well, they had me backed up on that Henry Marshall killing, and they just kind of blackmailed me to keep my mouth shut. And if I hadn't had a bunch of tapes that I played after he got killed, because, 17 got killed in this situation very mysteriously. And I've done a lot of time, and I've lost a lot of money, and it's hurt my family a whole lot. And it's really got me disgusted with Lyndon in one way. In one way, I feel real sorry. Sure good to see you. How's life?
I'm sort of in shock. This is the first time I've heard this. My wife just brought this to my attention during a break, and it wasn't part of the original segments that we had pulled for you guys today, but this is everywhere. And of course, the timing is suspicious because Donald Trump has just signed the executive order. Now, I want to play a little bit for you again because there's some language in here that we just need to kind of just soak in for a moment, because it implicates LBJ all the way. And Roger Stone he's got a book out that points the finger at LBJ as well. But let's listen just for the first maybe 30 seconds again.
Today. Well, Saul, it's been a pretty touch and go situation. Lyndon and I have had quite a few unpleasant words here lately over the deal with that he hired Mike Wallace to assassinate the president. It's been hectic in every way, but we've lived through it this far, and I guess we'll continue to do so. Lyndon should have never issued that order to Mike, but we've had our differences, and I'm a true blue to Lyndon, as I've always been.
Mac. You see this picture right here? Picture on your screen. I was at a conference, and I think it was actually one of Alex Jones' producers was pointing out some books that I needed to read, and one of them was about Lady Bird Johnson. And there's another picture that's very rarely ever seen. I don't have it here, but you can look it up. It's the same exact scene, but I believe there's a man. See the man in the bow tie? I think it's the man in the bow tie, it could be the man right behind Lyndon Johnson there. This is when obviously Lyndon is being sworn in on Air Force One on the way back to Washington. JFK's casket is in the hold. But I believe it's that man in the back with the bow tie, and he's looking at Lyndon Johnson, and he's giving him a wink. Like, well done. Like, you're the man now. It's really sinister, and the picture itself speaks 1,000 words. I don't have it for you. You can look it up, but it's whenever I see this photograph, I always think about the one that was taken at the same time. But Mac, what is it? Mac Wallace. We have to go deeper into that. Mac Wallace. So with the specifics related to the JFK files. This is what we're learning from the White House website. Trump has now issued deadlines for the plans of the release of the JFK, RFK, NLK files, maximum at 45 days. This is from Diligent Denizen. President Trump gave a 15-day deadline for plans to be put forth for the total release of all files regarding JFK's assassination. He gave the government 45 days to come up with a plan for the total release of MLK, RFK assassination files. The American people are finally going to get the answers. Declassification of the records has now officially been posted to the White House. No other president in American history is going to bring the transparency that this man is going to bring. They've all said, oh, I'm the most transparent administration. Remember Barack Obama said that? That was like the hallmark of his administration. That guy was as deep state as you can come. Trump ordered the release of the final classified files. This move could shatter decades of lies, corruption, and deep state cover-ups. Trump is doing what no other president had the guts to do, bring transparency to some of the darkest chapters in American history. The truth about the JFK assassination, RFK's murder, MLK Jr. files could finally be revealed. Of course, the establishment's terrified, and they should be. Trump is standing up for the American people, exposing the secrets they've tried to bury for decades. This is what a fearless leader looks like. Trump delivering again. The floodgates are about to be revealed. And think about, there's like, where's Al Sharpton on this, right? Where's Jesse Jackson on this? You see this picture on the screen right here? That's MLK in the bottom corner. Who's standing to MLK's right? On the left side of that photograph, that's Jesse Jackson. Now, I've actually been to that hotel in Memphis. I've been in that hotel, stood right underneath that railing, and it's a solemn moment when you stand there, because it looks like you're standing in a historic place where history changed. The 60s were violent. I mean, yeah, we got problems now, but back then the deep state didn't care. They would just do it in broad daylight. And of course, we have the instances with Donald Trump as of late, the assassination attempts on his life. We still don't have any answers in those. But what's going to happen next? What's Jesse Jackson going to say? Is he gonna applaud this? I certainly hope that he would. Al Sharpton, I hope he would applaud the release of these files. Or is he afraid that some of his buddies in government or some of the agencies that he adores are suddenly going to be implicated? Yeah, talk about having to deal with double standards. There's a lot of people going to face a reckoning. A lot of people. Okay, we've got some more on this as well. I want to teach you guys how you can learn how to access these files. I'm going to get to the Panama Canal stuff, the breaking stuff from the Panama Canal in a minute. But we have, Daily Mail published this. Trump orders a release. Big headline today. We're going to get this Tucker clip in a second. Because, Mike Pompeo told Trump, don't release the files. And you know what Trump did right before he signed the executive order? He revoked Pompeo's security detail, his Secret Service detail. And then he released the files. I mean, talk about sending a message. Pompeo was protecting the deep state. Without question. Trump, don't do it. Don't release those files. So what does Trump do? A big F-U to Pompeo. Guess what? I'm releasing the files and I'm revoking your Secret Service detail. Here's what Trump had to say about Pompeo.
And I was actually asked by Mike Pompeo, as Secretary of State, not to. And I felt he knew something that maybe, when he asks you not to, you sort of say, why? And he felt that it was just not a good time to release him. And you might ask him why. Maybe he'll deny that even. But he did. He asked me. And some others also, though. They didn't want the Kennedy stuff released. I was actually asked by Mike Pompeo, who's Secretary of State, not.
Okay, so I want to get to that clip. I need to play this for you. I promised you guys, and then I'm going to get to the Tucker clip. Okay, so this is Jess Fields. Jess Field made this video to explain how to be one of the first to browse the JFK files when they're released, according to President Trump's order. Hope that it helps. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to repost this on my X account, so you will be able to go directly there if you want to reference it later. You need to follow us on X, but I'm going to play this for you. It's only a couple minutes long. It's chock full of information that you need to pay attention to. Watch.
I'm going to teach you how to find the JFK files as soon as they're released, because this is something Trump has ordered, and it's going to be a huge deal. You're going to go to archives.gov, and you're going to find a page that is specifically for the JFK assassination files. As you can imagine, they get a lot of requests about this at the National Archives. You're going to look for the master page that has all of the different JFK assassination records on it. You can also find that at archives.gov/research/JFK. Once you're on that page, you're going to notice that they have different sections, but the primary one to look at is the released files, which goes by year. The latest is 2023. And of course, you can look at all the different reports like the Warren Commission and other different ways of finding material or sorting by name and things like that. Now, as soon as you actually go into one of the year pages, you're going to notice a huge list of files. It's like a spreadsheet, and it has record numbers and agencies that it came from and who it's from and where it's going, and, is it deemed relevant even to the JFK assassination investigation or not? But all of these different files are part of the disclosure. So this is kind of how you can tell quickly at a glance what it's about. And as soon as the Trump release is actually going through, you're going to see a similar dump of files like this. So you want to be able to go through and kind of understand exactly what it is that you're looking at, which agency it's from, and just as importantly, you need to understand how to actually find the file. So you can see that there's a little PDF link on each of these rows, and that's actually the original scanned copy of the file. So in this case, you can see this was a CIA document. It was from Esterline to the chief of the finance division, and it was redacted, is why they held it back. So you can see here they have a specific thing that says subject was recruited by Urbana Station at the rate of $300 per month. So President Trump's ordered releases are going to be just like this. It's going to be a whole bunch of files, and unlikely that they're going to give you any easier guide to look through this. When these first come out, journalists are going to be scrambling to try and figure out what does it all mean. So if you're one of the first people on the files, you can actually figure it out. So if you want to join the best citizen journalists first in line to see one of the biggest government document releases of our lifetimes, familiarize yourself right now with archive.gov's website, and you will be glad you did. This is Jess Fields. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day.
Thank you, Jess Fields, for that. You know what I think would be a good idea? What needs to be done is all the files need to be downloaded and uploaded into like ChatGPT. Optical character recognition, full searchable database. Oh, I'm sure someone's going to do it. Maybe I'll do it. It's going to take a hell of a lot of time. I'm just one man. But hey, that's what I think would be a great idea. So anyone listening right now, I'm planting a seed. Build the large language model based on all the JFK files. Release it to the public. Elon Musk, are you listening? Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Oh, but we're not done yet here. We got more. We have more and more and more and more and more. Let's go to the Tucker Carlson going off on Mike Pompeo. says he intimidated Trump not to release the JFK files. This is when he was on with Joe Rogan.
Position on it.
Did you hear Trump's take on the JFK assassination, why he didn't release the files?
Yeah, I know what Trump's take is.
He said that if you knew what I know, you wouldn't tell people either, which is crazy.
Well,
what
and
does that mean?
That's his position on the UAP thing as well.
Yeah.
Actually. And that's a lot of people's position on it. I mean, you know, Trump is saying, of course, the CIA had knowledge of it. That is known. I mean, the whole thing, it's like, it's so funny. There's so many levels and there's so much I don't understand. But the whole JFK conspiracy industry, and it really is an industry, more books written on that than almost any historical topic, is filled with wackos, right? There are a lot of wackos in there. But that fact obscures the larger fact, which is the facts themselves tell an unbelievable story.
Yeah.
And so, whatever, I could get into it at great length. But yeah, they're still classifying documents 61 years later. Both Trump and Joe Biden have, in violation of my read of federal law, kept those documents secret. There's no living person connected to the Kennedy assassination. It was a couple generations ago. There's no one person whose secrets are being protected. It's an institution, or maybe countries. There may have been countries involved too. I mean, I don't know the answer, but there's clearly something worth protecting. And I know that when I spoke to someone who'd seen the documents, 2 years ago, and I got one fact out of him, which is, yes, the CIA was involved. And by CIA is a huge organization, but James Jesus Angleton, the head of the operations directorate, had knowledge of this, which I think is well known. But that's the view of someone who saw the documents. So I thought that was news. So I went on TV and said that. The next day, I'll never forget it, I went quail hunting. And I was driving back, and I got a phone call from Mike Pompeo's lawyer. Mike Pompeo was the Secretary of State, but before then, he was the director of the CIA. And in that position, he plotted the murder of Julian Assange. So he is a criminal as far as I'm concerned. But his lawyer called me and said, you should know that anyone who tells you the contents of classified documents has committed a crime. He's threatening me. It was in my car. With my dog sitting next to me, I'll never forget this. And I said, are you really saying that to reveal that the U.S. government had a role in the murder of a democratically elected president, to say that out loud, that's the crime? What about the actual crime, which is murdering a president? Like, you're covering up for that, Mike Pompeo.
What did he say to that?
He had no response at all. And so Mike Pompeo is the one who pressed Trump to keep those documents secret. And so it's like, what's crazy to me is not just that Pompeo did that. I think Pompeo is a really sinister person and a criminal. I think that because the facts suggest that. He was caught. Yahoo News, Mike Isikoff wrote a long piece on this several years ago. His employees went to Mike Isikoff and said, hey, Mike Pompeo is plotting to murder Julian Assange, who's never even been charged with a crime in the United States, as CIA director. That's illegal. You're not allowed. Federal employees are not allowed to just kill people they don't like, okay? Just to set the baseline here. So that's who Mike Pompeo is. But he somehow intimidated Trump into not releasing this. Well, okay, that's all bad. Right? I think it's criminal behavior. What's crazy is how Mike Pompeo is treated. He's treated as like a Republican poobah in good standing. He fully expects to become the Secretary of Defense in a Trump administration, which is like completely insane. Why would you take a criminal and give him nuclear weapons? Okay, that's my view. I think it's a common sense view. And like he goes to fundraisers and dinners and everyone's like, hey, Mike Pompeo. It's like, no, you're the guy who kept information the public has a right to know secret. You're the guy who plotted the murder of someone who committed no crime. You are the outlaw. You are the bad guy. But no, he's treated as like a pillar of Republican Washington. I think it's mind-bending to watch that.
Did you hear Trump's take?
So what's really wild, because that was obviously recorded before all this, is that Donald Trump has now revoked Pompeo's Secret Service detail. And he's declassified the files. He's a big FU to Pompeo. And it's about time. And speaking of the CIA, we now learn that CIA had now appointed, yes, Ratcliffe is officially the CIA director, and he's been an advocate for the release of these files. And now we will all be able to see them. John Ratcliffe is confirmed as CIA director. Buckle up, for the agency has some dark, dirty secrets that Ratcliffe could expose, to include the JFK files, and they have now been released. But we do have to shift gears, because we need to discuss the wild activities that are going on within the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal, they are expressing alarm over Trump's threats to retake the Panama Canal. We have this too. We have the Britain is not going to be recognizing President Trump's order to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Well, guess what? We rejected your king too, so you could call it whatever you want. We're going to call it the Gulf of America. All right. Here we have, during the World Economic Forum, the president of the Republic of Panama reaffirmed the Panama Canal belongs to Panama.
Y segundo, porque el Canal de Panamá es de Panamá y seguirá siendo de Panamá.
I'm sorry, I thought we had the translated version of that. We do not have that. But we do have this. This is from this is 6 hours ago. Panama has now launched an audit of the CCP-controlled Hutchinson ports, which operates 2 ports on the Panama Canal. In October 2023, NFSC intelligence revealed that 2 weeks before the Hamas attack on Israel, large volumes of military supplies and personnel were transferred to Egyptian ports operated by Hutchinson and subsequently delivered to terrorist groups in Syria and Lebanon. Listen to this.
2 weeks before on January 20th, Panama's government launched an audit of Hutchinson Ports, a Hong Kong-based company that operates key ports at both ends of the Panama Canal. A video from the Office of the Comptroller General shows officials arriving at the Hutchinson's local office. According to intelligence from the NFSC, Hutchinson Ports is controlled by the Zhang family, a CCP kleptocratic dynasty, rather than the publicly known frontman, Hong Kong's wealthiest tycoon, Li Ka-shing. Further intelligence of NFSC in October 2023 revealed covert CCP military activities in the Middle East. 2 weeks before the Hamas attack on Israel, the CCP used ports in Egypt, owned and operated by Hutchinson Ports, to transport large volumes of military personnel and supplies, which were then delivered to terrorist groups in Syria and Lebanon. So, what do you think? Drop your comments below and make sure you subscribe.
So we're going to find out more. You know, Donald Trump has stated that the Panama Canal is in violation of the treaty because they're allowing China to control both ends of the port of the canal. Here is, let's see, we have more on, so much on this. Okay, so this is what they're doing in Panama right now. They are actually burning the American flag. We have this. This was translated. Listen to this. This is well, here, listen.
Died building it.
This is a video from an activist group in Panama now. This is the language and rhetoric that's being spit in that country at the moment.
Donald Trump's new Secretary of State is coming to Panama. He is Marco Rubio. And it's said that the terms under which the canal was returned have been violated, especially considering we paid for the canal's construction. 5,000 Americans died building it. Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, Elon Musk. We say it in English and Spanish.
Panama Canal not for sale. El Canal de Panamá no está.
So here's the video of them burning the American flag in Panama. Yeah, we're not going to be seeing scenes like this anymore when the Panama Canal is returned to American jurisdiction. But we do have this guy here. He's talking. Let's see if we got...
But also threatening.
those bold statements, those aggressive statements for now verbal but also threatening of intervention by force must have a parallel people's message, and that is we do not accept under any criteria Trump's declaration. Neither Trump nor the gringos nor their army nor their government have anything in paranoia.
So that's the propaganda that's being spewed in Panama right now. Panama isn't playing around. This is Brian Allen. Panama's not playing around. They just took Trump's reckless rhetoric straight to the United Nations. They're calling it reckless rhetoric. Filing an official complaint over his threats to take back the Panama Canal in a clear message to Trump and the world. Panama's UN ambassador reminded everyone that threatening force against another country violates the UN Charter, something the U.S. should be well aware of. Really, bro? Threatening violence? Threatening force? I don't believe that he did that. He simply said that if you are in violation of the treaty, then we have the right to send our military down there to secure our interests. So you guys want to go to the UN and complain about it? Okay, here you're going to send a piece of paper to the UN? Well, we're going to send the Panama Treaty to the UN. All right? Papers, please. We've got the papers. All right? You do whatever you want. We have the authority. Okay. M. Gadsden. You have a bunch of moronic non-Americans saying Trump is being imperialist for holding Panama to account for allowing China to economically annex the Panama Canal. The lack of education on this app is staggering. Did you know this about the Panama Canal? Let's listen.
Did the U.S. proposed canal originally belong to the United States? The Panama Canal was initially constructed by the French in the 1880s. However, due to various reasons, France failed in its efforts to complete the canal. After France's failure, the United States became interested and proposed constructing the Panama Canal. At that time, however, Panama was part of the Republic of Colombia, which rejected the U.S. proposal. When negotiations with Colombia fell through, the United States shifted its support to Panama's independence movement. In 1903, with U.S. backing, Panama declared independence from Colombia. Following this, the U.S. signed a treaty with Panama that allowed it to control a 10-mile wide zone to construct the canal. This area was considered U.S. territory. The Panama Canal was completed and became operational in 1914. In 1999, the U.S. returned the canal to Panama under the terms of a treaty. Today, Panama has no standing military, but according to the treaty, if the neutrality of the Panama Canal is threatened or compromised, the United States retains the right to intervene militarily in Panama. The canal originally belonged to the United States?
Mike Pompeo. No, I'm sorry. Here's Caitlin Collins praising Jimmy Carter.
Trump there was a signature achievement of Jimmy Carter's. He believed it improved relations with Latin America for the United States. And still, it's one of his biggest accomplishments that people talk about. But Trump...
biggest failures, actually. Here's Laura Loomer. She's at the Office of International Migration in Panama. This was in February of last year, which overlooks the Panama Canal. Listen to this.
National migration. Hey everybody, Laura Loomer here. I'm currently in Panama in the City of Knowledge, what used to be the U.S. military base, and right now I'm in front of the OIM, which is the Office of International Migration. And so what's really interesting about this is the office, of course, that's facilitating the journey and helping a lot of these illegal aliens that are coming into Panama via the Darien Gap and then, of course, making their way to the United States. They're facilitating the active invasion of America on what used to be a United States military base. And it's quite incredible because just behind this building is the Panama Canal. And we're getting lots of footage of it. And of course, I'm going to show you all this footage. But right behind me, behind this building, right in the center. They said this is probably the best building with the best view, prime real estate for where we are. And it overlooks the view of the Panama Canal and the Thatcher Ferry Bridge, which is, of course, the land bridge that these illegal aliens cross over from Darien. And then that's how, of course, they go on their journey to the United States. And so, it's pretty wild. You see how giving the canal, the Panama Canal, to Panama, which of course was facilitated by President Jimmy Carter and then was made official in the year 2000, has really hindered our national security, because now you have a lot of NGOs. This entire plaza, which was a U.S. military base, is now, all these offices right here are filled with NGOs. So, Catholic Charities, HIAS, all types of various NGOs run by leftist progressives with a New World Order agenda who are facilitating the invasion. And so I think that if we are going to protect our country from an invasion, one of the things that we can do, one of the first steps, perhaps President Trump will do this when he wins re-election, is take back the Panama Canal, because it seems like a common sense policy to take back the Panama Canal, secure the bridge, and stop the flow of the invasion.
Isn't this amazing? I mean, she foreshadowed this back in February of 2024.
Which, of course, China is actively facilitating, because, as I showed you when I arrived in Panama yesterday, you see a big sign that says Bank of China, and the Chinese have a very strong presence here in the City of Knowledge and with the OIM as well. And a lot of people want to know, why are we seeing such a surge in Chinese migrants, especially coming into the United States? Well, this is why. It's not the only reason why, but largely they're coming into the Darien Gap to Panama, crossing over the bridge, and then, of course, they make their way to the United States. So,
and then we got also Glenn Beck just weighed in on this whole thing too. Just 23 hours ago, talking about how China controls much of the Panama Canal, including 2 of the 5 main ports, bridges over it, and telecom services for much of the canal zone. Now, I'm not a big fan of Glenn Beck, but sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day.
He was tried. It's kind of ironic that foreign entanglements and sponsoring regime changes that were helped to use and to push the U.S. into the Canal Treaty with Panama, because in 1989, President George H.W. Bush sent 27,000 troops into Panama to remove Noriega from power. It only took 2 weeks for Noriega to surrender. He was tried and he was convicted and spent most of the rest of his life in prisons here in the U.S., France, and then Panama. Control of the canal was officially handed over to Panama on December 31st, 1999. Wow, same time the English just handed over Hong Kong. Remember that? That wasn't a mistake either. Ever since, the canal has been operated by the Panama Canal Authority, which is owned by the Panamanian government. Well, guess who saw opportunity in the change of ownership of the Panama Canal? Right, China. At more than $480 billion, China's overall trade with Latin America countries is now 35 times more than it was when Panama first took over the canal. China has been so committed to Latin American influence that it even had a deal in place 10 years ago to construct their own canal across Nicaragua. Fortunately, the deal that fell apart was that one, because environmental concerns and the fact that the project would displace thousands of families. That's the one time I cheer for the environmentalist. In the meantime, however, 22 Latin Americans and Caribbean nations have joined Canada's Belt and Road Initiative. China, sorry. Guess who was the first to join that little Chinese party? Panama. China. Panama, shortly after, Panama cut diplomatic ties with Taiwan. Whoa, really? There are now 200,000 Chinese living in Panama. The U.S. is still number 1 customer of the canal, but China is now number 2. The canal is a choke point that China seeks to control. It's controlled by a Hong Kong company. Wait a minute. Didn't the British give Hong Kong away in 1999 as well? They manage, this company, C.K. Hutchinson, 2 of the 5 main ports that service the canal, 1 on each side. Chinese companies, as you know, do not operate independently from their communist government. You know, coffin sales tend to go up around those companies when they do try to do things that China doesn't want to happen. China is currently building a fourth bridge over the canal. Now, Chinese tech company Huawei provides telecommunication service for much of the canal zone. Isn't that great? Now, that was the company that was banned from selling equipment in the U.S. since 2022. Why? Because of the backdoor spying software built into its devices. And surveillance cameras for the canal, also provided by Hikvision. Hikvision, I love that. Is that a company out of West Virginia? No, it's a company largely owned by the Chinese government-controlled defense firm. Hikvision's surveillance cameras are used to monitor and arrest the Uyghurs in China. They help round all those people up. Just think what they can do here. All of this Chinese infrastructure that has been built up around the canal over the past 25 years could pose a serious U.S. national security threat. In 2021, a single ship ran aground and got lodged sideways, blocking the Suez Canal for about a week. Remember that? It cost the global economy $10 billion. Now, earlier this week, I talked to Gordon Chang, or was it last week? He's a journalist and a lawyer who spent decades studying China. He's concerned the next global war might start with a similar accident in the Panama Canal. If hostilities broke out between China and the U.S., China could easily collapse their bridge over the canal or lodge ships at either side of the canal. It would not take much to cripple the canal and U.S. trade and naval capability along with it. The Trump administration is considering China's growing influence in Panama, and they consider it a violation of the U.S.-Panama treaties that require the canal to remain neutral.
Pretty good take there from Glenn Beck. Yes, there is a port at either end of the Panama Canal. It is a massive national security threat. Rubio is now heading there on his first trip as Secretary of State. We will not continue to ignore the region. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is jetting off to Panama, where Trump has stirred the pot by suggesting the U.S. should take back the Panama Canal. Not just about the canal, Rubio's tour includes Guatemala, El Salvador, Costa Rica, and the Dominican Republic, focusing on the MAGA priorities of halting illegal migration. Panama's president has earlier declared the Panama Canal belongs to Panama. So, lots is going on. I mean, you got the JFK files release. You got the amplification of the Panama Canal. I mean, so much is happening, folks, and it's only day 4 in the presidency of the United States. Exciting times that we're living in, 100%. So, let's say a prayer for this country and get it done. Now, the parallels are undeniable. Whether it's the JFK files or the Panama Canal, we are watching decades of deception unravel. Trump's commitment to transparency is exposing not just historical cover-ups, but present-day threats to American sovereignty. As China tightens its grip on the Panama Canal, the stakes couldn't be higher. It's not just about the trade routes, it's about America's position as a global superpower. So here's tonight's burning question. Should Trump use executive authority to immediately seize the Panama Canal if China's influence proves to be a national security threat? Let us know in the comments below and show your support for truth and transparency with our exclusive collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below. Wow. That segment went a little longer than I thought it would. Todd, we probably should have split that up, you know? That JFK stuff, though, man, amazing. Amazing what we're seeing there. Let's see. Oh, looks like he's got some stuff on Mac already pulled together. Thank you for that. Okay. What do we got going on here in super chats here 24 minutes ago. $2 from Joy Hoffman. Thank you, Joy. And you also gifted a membership. Tonight we're at $37 in chat revenue with 22 new members. Okay. Wow. What are you guys saying in the chat room? We built it. We should own it. Yes, seize the canal. Carter was compromised when he gave the canal. It's null and void. Don't trust Rubio. Free Ron Jeremy. Don't neglect the freeloaders, says Ides of March. No more message parlors. Bye-bye. What? Free Ron Jeremy. Is that something? Is Ron Jeremy going to get a pardon? I know who Ron Jeremy is, dude. He's the hedgehog, bro. Everyone knows who Ron Jeremy is. This is a different Ron Jeremy? Whatever. I mean, I did meet Ron Jeremy once. I met him at the Rainbow Room in Los Angeles after I went to Corey Feldman's red carpet premiere of his film that exposed the sickness of Hollywood in children. And Ron Jeremy was, my wife was there, and Ron Jeremy, she saw him. She went up to the bathroom, and he was like stalking her. She felt so uneasy. And then several months later, Ron Jeremy was arrested for multiple charges that women put up against him. So there you go. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's get to our next topic of the evening. The mainstream media is collapsing, and it's accelerating tonight. CNN is axing over 200 jobs, and their most vocal anti-Trump voice, Jim Acosta, has been banished to the midnight shift. It's not just a demotion, it is a complete humiliation. Sources say Acosta is threatening to quit rather than accept his new role in TV's graveyard slot. But here's what CNN doesn't want you to know about the real reason behind these massive cuts and why their attempt to salvage their failing network is too little, too late. And while CNN crumbles under the weight of their fake news agenda, your retirement savings face a similar threat from mainstream financial propaganda. Don't let your wealth disappear like CNN's ratings. Contact Global Gold Investments at 888-700-4148 and get your free 2025 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. When you mention Next News, you receive a complimentary portfolio analysis and up to $1,000 in free silver. But you got to mention Next News. Mention Gary Franchi. You'll be able to do, if you qualify for your January retirement rollovers. So just as Americans are turning away from fake news, smart investors are turning to real money, gold. Okay, poor Jim Acosta. Oh, poor Jimmy. Oh, poor Jimmy. Yeah, going to the graveyard shift. Jim Acosta, CNN's anti-Trump poster boy, is reportedly threatening to quit after being demoted from his prized 10 a.m. show to the dreaded midnight slot, otherwise known as TV Siberia. Replaced by Wolf Blitzer, Acosta is said to be fuming as CNN bosses attempt to rein in his theatrics, fearing more fallout as Trump begins his second term. Once celebrated for his dramatic clashes with Trump, Acosta now faces the reality that shouting at a president doesn't secure job security. Meanwhile, staffers are furious, claiming CNN is bending the knee to Trump. Legacy media, folks, it's eating itself alive. We have more on that. Here's a headline. Trouble off air. CNN boss warns network could no longer exist as it lays off 200 staff and brutally demotes anti-Trump star Jim Acosta. CNN's meltdown continues. The CEO warns the network might not survive layoffs / 200 jobs. Jim Acosta gets demoted to the midnight shift where no one will ever hear him anyway. Top talent is eyeing the exit as Wolf Blitzer moves to mornings to salvage what's left. Legacy media, folks, is a sinking ship with no lifeboats. Watching their collapse is almost as entertaining as their coverage used to be. Turns out 24/7 Trump bashing doesn't pay the bills. The most trusted name in news is running out of trust and time. Yeah, I'm here for it, though. So what do we got here? Chaos at CNN. Edward Muniz. 200 plus layoffs coming. 200 jobs cut at CNN. Once again, CNN's Jim Acosta holds the line. We are not going to let the truth be erased about January 6th. Yeah, not for long. Speaking of mainstream media, John Fetterman says Democrats need to stop freaking out over everything Trump does. And that's exactly what CNN does. Everything Trump does, they freak out about. John Fetterman's starting to be a voice of reason over there in the Democrat Party. But of course, it couldn't happen to a nicer person.
To come into the
why did you characterize?
Remember this moment? I'll never forget this. This was such a disgraceful moment.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Jim Acosta interrogating the president during an open press conference.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants in this election to try to keep?
I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process, and I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign.
Wait. You know why we need the people, don't you? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
That's true. But they weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. Right. These were people. This was an actual. You know, it happened a few days ago. And
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President. If I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his butt.
Well, I'm not
like
a big
the rest
fan
of
of
us.
yours either. So
I understand.
To be honest,
so let me ask you a question, if I can. You repeatedly said
you aren't the best,
Mr. President. You repeatedly over the course of
just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Mr. President, over the course of the last several days of the campaign, sir.
Oh, man, who will ever forget that moment? That was absolutely historic. Wow. Speaking of meltdowns, AOC having a meltdown over both peasants and elites rallying behind Trump in his second term, no longer viewing him as the villain the Democrats and media painted him to be. And she was speaking with the Daily Show, former Daily Show.
On edge, what makes
Jon
this
Stewart.
go around with Trump so much more dangerous than the first time around is exactly what you're saying. It's that he is much more normalized this time around than he was the first time. The first time, people were really on edge. They were on guard. They were very vigilant about any break that he would have with these norms. This time, the norms are becoming him. Like the norms are embracing him. Even these like little things that people may not, like everyday working people may not care about, but they are strong cultural signals. Oscar de la Renta, like dressing all of the women. Like there's all these cultural symbols, right?
I see. Participating now in this when they wouldn't have participated in the past.
Exactly.
I see what you're
Exactly. So like all of these people that were scared before about like being associated with him from the most common.
I mean, listen, AOC, just give it up. The shtick is dead. We heard it for years and years and years. It's over. You guys lost. You might as well play ball. Get on the train or get run over by it. Okay, you're complaining because people are actually now supporting President Trump because he had all those billionaires of Silicon Valley sitting with him at the inauguration. You're freaking out. Well, it's about time they fell in line. It's about time you fall in line too, honey. By the way, look at her face. It looks like she got like a shiner. Like she put on a lot of makeup. Something going on over there in the AOC household? I don't know. A lot of people were saying that she's pregnant too. I don't know. Anyway, let's we got what, another 60 seconds of this? Whatever.
Basic level to the most elite level. They're all like they're all in now because this is now a billionaire feeding frenzy. It is a kiss-ass race.
Man.
It is, how can I show how much fealty I have to Donald Trump in order to get my digs? And I think what's really important for people to understand, and like now and every day of this administration, is that you're being ripped off. You're being ripped off, dude. Like, everyone is being ripped off. And he goes up there and he says what he wants to say, but he's just the quintessential New York con man.
AOC, my heart goes out to you. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I caught that. Speaking of this, we got, a guy going to work loses it when activists block a roadway. What's this? Oh boy. This should be good. Where is this? Oh, okay, these are U.S. plates. Uh-oh.
Convenience others, look behind you. Take it out. You gotta go to work. Get the fuck out the way. Get the fuck out the way. Go. Get the fuck out of here. You get the. They gotta go to work. Somebody take off the floor.
Yeah. Think twice before you decide to block the roadway, okay? And then we got this here. Ana Navarro. Oh, man. One of the clucks from The View. The clucks from the hen house. Here she has a complete meltdown. This is posted 6 hours ago on The View because President Trump pardoned J6 hostages who she claims assaulted police. Meanwhile, she won't condemn Antifa or BLM.
One thing that really did kind of take me by surprise, and it shouldn't have, were these January 6th pardons. Yeah. Because I think it is such a gross, inexcusable, unjustifiable betrayal of police, of the Capitol Police. And I am disgusted beyond words.
Oh, did you hear that? There was a knock on the door. I think the ICE agents are heading over to The View to check Ana Navarro's papers.
That yesterday the leader of the Oath Keepers was in the Capitol that he helped plan.
He'll be the next Secretary of State. What, are you kidding me?
He might be the social secretary of the White House. They're now discussing having some of these pardoned January 6 people visit the White House, the symbol of democracy in this country. What is wrong with Republicans, the law and order party, that they are not coming up and saying to him, having the guts on this?
Oh, yeah, you guys can keep crying. Keep crying. Here's Stuart Rhodes.
You shouldn't be here. You are welcome. First Amendment, free speech.
Right.
It is disrespectful.
No, it's not.
Here.
Okay, so you have a right to express your opinion and I have a right to carry on.
I have no standing here except I work here. And
I used to work here too.
I don't want to be part of this.
It doesn't matter.
I just want to express that.
Okay, that's fine.
Please tell your story elsewhere. Here
I
is
have a right to free speech.
it's disrespect. Yes, of
I'm here,
course.
and I'm here to conduct business too. So here, she wants to suppress free speech. She doesn't want free speech. Certain people are, in her mind, don't deserve free speech and should be wiped off the face of the planet when it comes to their free speech. That's the attitude we're dealing with here.
And
I stand for everyone's free speech. I believe Black Lives Matter had a right to protest in Ferguson peaceably, and I advocate for that.
You shouldn't be here. You are welcome. First Amendment.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the meltdowns are going to continue. This is only the beginning, friends. And Jim Acosta on the chopping block going to Siberia, midnight shift. Oh, yeah. Keep giving him the symbol of love. The fall of CNN isn't just about ratings. It's about the death of legacy media as we know it. Jim Acosta's demotion to the midnight shift symbolizes everything wrong with mainstream news. Arrogance, bias, and a complete disconnect from real Americans. As CNN scrambles to rebrand itself, their desperate moves only highlight just how far they've fallen. So here is what we want to know from you. Is CNN's downfall a victory for truth in media? Or should we be concerned about the concentration of power in other media outlets? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to grab your exclusive Mag Avengers gear on the way out. Shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, link below. Show the world where you get your real news. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. You know, I'm seriously considering, I don't know how we can do this, but that Panama Canal and JFK segment, it almost feels like it should be cut in half. I don't know how long was that segment. That's just the way I'm seeing it. I don't know how we can, we'd have to create a new intro and outro for all that, but let's see. Where are we at with these cuts? Well, 40 minutes, roughly, I guess. Was that 40 minutes? Or was that... I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember. Which segment was it? Segment 3? No, I think it was segment 4. Yeah, segment 4, I believe, was I don't know, it's all a blur. It's all a blur. It's all a blur, baby. Okay. Let's check in with the chat room, see what you guys are saying. Love my president, ice, ice, baby. Baby, it's cold outside. The salt must flow. Thank you, our Boyd, for the 10 spot. We're now $47. We're going to hit 50 tonight. We only need $3 from you guys to crack 50. And I can go back and tell my wife that we made $50 tonight on the stream. And then maybe we could pay in our internet bill. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Okay. Let's see. Where are we at on the mainstream news? Checking in. A group of nuns and priests. Let's see. Bring up that triple box, please. Brian, if I get this, what is it? The new keypad thing you keep telling me to buy. What's it called?
I don't know which keypad you're talking about now.
The one you keep telling me to buy. Every day you tell me to buy this thing. Buy it, put it on, plug it in. Stream Deck.
You got a Stream Deck.
I know, but that's assigned to another system. You know how I hate taking things apart. I want things for one purpose here, ready to go when it's ready to go. If I get another Stream Deck, we can assign all these cuts and all these scenes to each button.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. Send me the link to the one I need to buy. Okay. I don't know if I need the one with all the dials on it, though.
I don't think so either.
I think I just need one with
We could use the shuttle if you just reconnect it and
Yeah, but
then
the Stream Deck has those little buttons. You can see the LED, and they could probably map the visual scene into each button. I'm assuming that's how it works.
No, it's just shortcuts. There's no pretty picture. I mean, you can make your own pretty pictures if you want, I guess.
All right. Well, then you're going to be making some pretty pictures. You'll take screenshots of each scene, and then you'll just go ahead and map them into the buttons.
Sounds good.
How's that sound?
Like a blast. I can't wait.
Brian, you know it. You can do it. I know you can do it.
I can.
Oh, okay. Yes, you can, Brian. Yes, you can. Brian, you can do anything. Like Doc Brown always says, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Right, Doc? Right? Right, with his DeLorean time machine here. What's inside? Oh, hey, look. The door's open. Okay, enough of that. Where are we? Enough playing around. Okay, we got this group of nuns and priests made the most rare snow day in Louisiana, having a snowball fight. What would Jesus do? This is what a talent scout should look like. Thank you, NRCC Chairman Richard Hudson, for selecting me as Vice Chairman of Nationwide Recruitment. Corey Mills. Democrats are going to melt down. A constitutional amendment has been filed allowing President Trump to seek for a third term of office. It will not pass. That's a tall order. Senator Mazie Hirono, channeling my inner Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yeah, nice. Nice try. Cheryl Mills. Cheryl's, I love you too. Dropping $10 on us. We're at 47. Still 47. That must be from Rumble because it's not registering on the other side. Let me see here. I think it's Rumble. And it is from Rumble. What's up, Rumble? Ah, yes. Where are we at on Rumble? Okay. What else here? Trump wants to talk with Putin and the war in Ukraine. Yes, we know that. The House thinks you're too stupid to notice, even though they require ours to chair, blah, blah, blah. 13 Oscar nominees. Okay. Audio clip released by DOJ. DOJ reveals impersonating someone to a bank employee. What? Under Trump, ICE arrests 460 illegal immigrants accused in 33 hours. Italian Goddess, what's up? Next News Network is the best news network. This is your 20th super chat. Look at that. Italian Goddess' 20th super chat. That's awesome. Thank you. The most media outlets notice the far right, but not the far left. President Trump's new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, just notified 10 Secret Service officials they'll be fired, moved, or put into retirement. Sounds good to me. Oh my goodness. Look at this picture of someone on Spirit Airlines. Royce Lopez. I don't even know. Do I follow this person? I must follow this person. I just want to thank the lady who made our already terrible Spirit flight worse by deciding to use the most powerful light in America to crochet in a pitch black plane while people are trying to sleep. Yeah, that's why you don't fly. Spirit. Yeah. It's like flying in a shoebox. Just in, two former political reporters, Mark Caputo of Axios and Tara Palmieri of Puck, admit their ex-employer blocked negative stories about the big guy in Hunter. You surprised? I'm not. Today, the Trump administration arrested 530 illegal immigrants. Elon Musk celebrating that moment is great. Adam Lois, my friend, thank you, Elon Musk and Trump, for making America great again. It's time for illegals to go home. Home and $2 bigs for governor. Okay. Some AI of Elon Musk drinking his Diet Coke. Man, that stuff is the worst for you. Absolute worst. Okay. I gotta rock. I gotta go. I love you guys. Can hang out all night on these feeds. But I got more work to do, as you guys always know. You want me to have Mancow Muller as a guest sometime? Yeah, I've talked to him about that. It's hard to pin him down, really. Because he's all over the map sometimes. But I could get him on the show. I think what I'll do maybe, how about this? Once we get the studio reconfigured to have a live, like more of a, like 3 or 4 people in here with like multiple cameras, then I think we'll try to get some more people like in studio. It just works better that way. That way he could just come over. He doesn't got to mess around with technology, and he's got to contact his producer and hook everything up. It's like, some people are not as technologically savvy. I've been to his studio, talked with his producers. I know like the limitations, so probably just be easier that way. Okay, so Durka to everyone. Durka. So Patriots, what a monumental show this has been. In these few hours, we've witnessed history unfold on multiple fronts. Trump's day 4 has been nothing short of revolutionary. Taking on the global elite at Davos, dismantling the DEI bureaucracy, and finally securing our borders with ICE raids that are sending shockwaves to sanctuary cities. We expose the truth about the coming JFK files that Mike Pompeo tried to keep hidden, revealed China's alarming control over the Panama Canal, and watched CNN's empire crumble as Jim Acosta gets banished to the midnight shift. To our reviewer who sent in super chats and rumble rants tonight, your voice matters. Thank you. You're not just watching history, you're part of it. We can't keep fighting this battle alone. The mainstream media is doing everything they can to silence voices like ours, and that's why your support is crucial. Visit the donation links in the description. Every contribution helps us continue bringing you the unfiltered truth. And while you're there, check out shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our exclusive Mag Avengers collection isn't just merchandise, it's a statement. It tells the world you stand for real news, not the establishment's propaganda. So share this broadcast with everyone you know. Text them the link. Post it on your social media. Spread the word. The algorithms can't stop us if we work together. If you haven't already, join our channel membership program for exclusive content and direct access to our team. Remember, what we cover tonight isn't just news. It is the revolution that the deep state feared. Trump's first week back is just the beginning. The truth about JFK is finally coming out. Our borders are being secured and the globalist agenda is crumbling. So thank you for joining us on the Raw feed. Keep fighting, keep sharing, and never stop believing in America. We'll see you tomorrow with more breaking developments from the front lines of this historic transformation. Good night, and God bless America.